Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. How is everyone doing? Yeah, let's see what we have. Liquid Vistas. Second in, first to like, and help Mike hit the like. I like that. Help Mike hit the like. There you go. Now, everybody, Kratos just doomed it. Green Tesla, green Tesla, green Tesla, green Tesla. All right, rally's over. The thumbnail was will continue. It's all been done in by Kratos. Hope I said that right. But you pretty much doomed all the Tesla longs. Hey Shashi, again, happy Friday to everyone. What do I have on the screen? I have on the weekly Tesla. Green, green, red, red. We'll have to figure out a context for that because still on the weekly. Oh, what the daily? Let's see. No, we'll see. We have red, red, green. We have red, 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 green, green, red, red, green. By the way, the reason I was started off on the weekly is we've triggered a massive double top. By the way, it would become invalid and stopped out above 1154. Okay, that's the exact number, right around there, 1154 and change. I'm not worried about that specific because that's all the way up here. So people say, well, that stops huge. Well, that's why you'd use, if you're shorting this, it's why you'd use position sizing, because the farther away from the stop, the smaller your position. So you're still risking the same amount, whether your stop is 10 bucks away or 150, you just adjust your position size. And if you can't get it small enough to match your risk profile, then you pass on the trade. Now, because this triggered a massive weekly, doesn't mean it can't rally. No, we can easily have rallies, and I'm expecting even a rally to continue, even though Kratos ruined it. As Liquid Vista says, he ruined it going into next week. So everybody join the live stream on Monday if we close red, and you can all blame somebody but me. But we could easily have rallies. This is a weekly pattern. Does it have to get there in a week? No, it'd be ridiculous to get in a week unless Tesla just crashed and the market just died. But longer term, I'm watching for lower prices. So what does that mean? It also means we are still in neutral mode on the weekly. Again, it takes a long time to change these steamers around. The big, imagine a big, huge container ship. Daily is in bearish mode. Does that mean it can't rally on the daily? No, not at all. It can easily rally on a daily. It could even easily rally back to this 980 level and roll over. Okay? But you have to watch these key levels. Just on the way up, you look for dips in the rotation zone. On the way down, you watch to sell rallies in the rotation zone. And if you're taking long trades, you at least move up your stops aggressively into the rotation zone. Just to recap some intraday price action, let's see. We'll get to the bounce off the 62.5% retracement was a thing of beauty. Entered calls when it closed back above 50. I was going to highlight that play too. Boy, Kratos is just ruining everything for me today. Can I turn the live stream over to you, please? By the way, I'm just messing with you. I'm just joking. But yes, that was an amazing play. And I will go through it. We had the 1 hour buys trigger also. Again, these are aggressive and only for people who want to hold over the weekend. The risk, and I'm talking with the broad market, even though I'm expecting a continued rally, at least through Monday, probably into Tuesday, we have fund rebalancing going on at the end where we come out of oversold conditions on a lot of stuff besides Tesla. We had a lot of covering too going into today, and with fund rebalancing going on Monday and month end, I'm still expecting a continued rally. However, we are in interesting times right now, and you have to take into account the risks are still to the downside in the broad market. We have geopolitical tensions with Russia and Ukraine. There's always stuff with China on the radar. Everybody was celebrating today because the Atlanta Fed came out with, oh boy, their first call on first quarter GDP came in at like 0.1%, which is just nearly zero. And so we were like, oh, rate hikes aren't going to happen. No rate hikes. Well, that's not what the Fed Watch tool says, but that's what, and everybody's like, buy everything. We're not going to have rate hike. Like, literally, you're celebrating the economy slowing down. And so that means the Fed won't cut. And, you know, this is where the kind of stuff we're in. But this is what you get when things are rolling over. And my position is still we're going to have much more downside pain. Especially, I talked to a number of people today. Again, people are saying, I couldn't take much more of a sell-off. I'm so glad the bottom's in. We can just go back and buy everything. People are, again, everybody's back full in. Full in. Well, I'm going to buy everything. Now, the bottom's in. I don't think the bottom's in because when you get so many people thinking the bottom's in, and I'm giving the broad perspective way beyond Tesla right here. And if you want more of what I think or what the thing, I'm going to do a sector overview, probably come out tomorrow. Again, this is being recorded Friday afternoon after the close. So tune into the sector overview Saturday. Maybe we'll call it Saturday sector overview. And then market overview on Sunday afternoon to prepare for next week. Does that mean we won't have rallies? We'll have some great rallies. We have great rallies in bear markets. By the way, it's not even officially a bear market based off the bear market statisticians because you need to be down 20%. I don't need to be down 20% before we have major downward pressure. Why, again, am I saying all this? Because it plays into stocks, especially like Tesla stocks, that will, if the NASDAQ rolls over and gets hammered, Tesla will most likely, with its correlation with the NASDAQ, it's still a high flyer PE stock. Even with you, I see people, it's the cheapest it's ever been. It doesn't matter. It's still a high flyer PE stock, even at these valuations. So you can see it going lower easily, and we have technical things that says that. Besides that, you can have rallies. There are great things to play. Let me just update a couple things. There's updating the levels today. Just let me show you. We got down to here. We started breaking down on the open. We went through the next target. Here was the pausing bar, and it gave me a 792.30. I don't even know. The low was 792 here. Nice little reversal. We had some momentum bars, the upside. I'm just highlighting the 15-minute right here. Here was the play. Here was my play for the 62.5. So back, we got momentum bars. These are 15-minute momentum bars. Even with this little drawback right here, you know, there's just this overlap right here, but you still had strong momentum coming off these lows. And on the 5-minute, you know, you had this little key reversal right here. There's a little thing I watch for. It's called an ice cream trade, which we triggered here. I haven't highlighted that one exactly. Right here, you had a little mini 5-minute double that was confirmed but not triggered. And then just going back to that is momentum bars. Momentum bars, you put up your retracements, your harmonic retracements for new people here. For new people here, there we go. Here's your levels. They're in 12.5% increments, okay? Again, nothing hidden. Why do we use those versus the fib levels? They tested out better. They tested out better. That's all I can say. So I'm going to use what tests out better. I'll get to questions in a second. Watching you for that key pullback between the 50 and the 62.5, which we did during, lunchtime, coming back. No close below 62.5. If it closed below 62.5, I'm done. But remember, I also switched to the 15-minute as we go into lunchtime. So we got no close below here, and then a nice little resumption of trend right there. That's your play if you want to hold over the weekend. Also, the 1-hour buy signal. It was a close above this high of 838. That was triggered if you wanted to hold over the weekend. 4-hour would need to close above this high, which would still be valid for Monday. The only challenge is you need to put your stop then below this low at 792, and your reward to risk, depending on how you're playing it, could be slightly off. And these are aggressive plays. Why do I say they're aggressive? Because, again, educational purposes only, cannot tell anybody how to trade, but if you follow along with this, Just like today, a number of people reached out to me saying, I got long down here. What's my target? I said, watch the 1 hour rotation zone. Why did I say watch? And that was when we were down here. That was when, I mean, I had people getting long all in here to contact me. And please, I cannot respond to everything. By the way, I want to state this. If you join the Discord, it's great service, but I can't respond to every message I get. Literally, else I'd be running a trading room and then I couldn't do my work. And I'm not running a trading room for a one-time fee of $10. That is to help people, and I will put stuff in there, but here's the deal. You know, and you had this little mini double top, by the way, I'll show that too. Why did I say the 1 hour rotation zone? Because at this point, we were down here, in the 1 hour rotation zone. This is when you're trading against the rotation zones, which we were against the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily. I like to lock in profits. You're trading aggressively. We have not tested the 1 hour on this way down. I said lock in profits for educational purposes only. So if you're even paper trading, whatever, lock something in. You come up to the 1 hour rotation zone. And in worst case, you get your stop to break even. And why? Look at the following the 1 hour rotation zone lower. If you didn't see that, then at least here, you had a little mini double. I see all the questions scrolling by. I'll get them in a second. But you had this little mini double. So you trigger below there right here. Take something off the table when that triggers. And then watch for the bigger pullback and see it triggered. And then you came back to all the targets. So you can use these kind of signals if you weren't taking something off. And I love to take stuff off into strength for longs and into weakness on the shorts. Like, we're not trying to call tops or bottoms. Exactly. We're trying to take profits off into strength, and then if the move continues, you raise your stops. Same to the downside. Now, they just got the play to the upside. So I'm still expecting higher prices going into Monday, unless there's some major weekend news, some major weekend shift. If Russia invaded Ukraine, that could change things. Okay? What do you think my next area is? Well, I'm going to be watching the other side of the 1 hour rotation zone, and I'm going to be watching the bottom of the 4 hour rotation zone. All right? So those are key areas to move up stops and or depending on your position and where you got in to take partial profits. You get a close into the 4 hour rotation zone. Then I will be watching two things. The bottom of the daily rotation zone and the other side of the 4 hour rotation zone. By the way, for anybody new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button, just like Liquid Vista said. Help Mike hit the like. There we go. Why? This stuff, you can set up everything. Again, if you're new here, it's the orange line is the 8 EMA. The blue line, the 21 here, the 21 EMA. And the green line is not part of the rotation zone. It's just a key target, and it's the 50 EMA. Nothing is hidden here. So these are stuff you can put on your charts, and it gives you areas to move up stops, especially when you're trading against the rotation zone. All right? I'm going to keep hammering this, because enough people are trying to call tops and bottoms and not raise stops and not try to capture a chunk out of the middle. Now, if you didn't get in, I understand not wanting to hold over the weekend with this kind of market conditions and everything else. What's your play? Well, on a gap up, just put up your harmonics like we've covered in past live streams and watch for retracements. And if it's not closing below the 62.5, you can take some positions on pullbacks and rotations up and still use these same targets. If you want to get into the beginning of the week, you still in a 4 hour close Monday morning. You can still get in above this 4 hour high at 857.38. Again, not trading advice. I will release some of these rules with the trading course so everybody can just do it on their own. I'm not giving away everything for free. Else there's no point in me even doing anything because I give away so much for free. Thank you, Amit. And this is how we support this channel. I need some little better lighting because again, I like to make this channel pay for itself in terms, not even my time. We're not even going to talk about my time, but I like to help. And these are the ways we do it. Amit, $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Going straight to support the channel, and that money goes only to support the channel and making it better for everybody else. I will fund every one of these super chats back into like some better lighting. So as you see, we now have the green screen. That's the kind of ways I'm going to keep the channel growing. And anything I do offer, just like the Discord, it's a $10 one-time fee. I keep the price low for people to really be able to learn. We don't sit and pump stuff here. We don't sit and just throw out stuff. We don't sit and intelligence people to average down and lower your cost average, and then they get liquidated and get margin calls. We're teaching people to actually invest and trade. Does that mean everything's right? No. You're going to have stops. You're going to learn to take profits and learn to trail stops. Okay? And learn to always follow your stops and learn to be consistent. I've talked about that and other things. Wavy, great recovery today. Your SPX play was on point, and I've talked about this, and we're still long the S&P. And I'll go over that on Sunday, so please join me. And is every play right? No, there's plenty of things that get stopped. But whether they get stopped or go to profit, it doesn't matter. Consistency and learning consistency and having a set of rules to follow is your key aspect. And what I don't get, can somebody answer something for me? Also, my camera's a bit blurry. Well, let's try this one. That one's wow. Huh. How did that get so blurry? Let's see here. This is not good. Hang on for me. There we go. Wow. Nah. Hold on. I like how I'm fading in and out with the color. Just give me 1 second here. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you. Anything you type in, thank you, Amit. And thank you for all you do and everybody else who does super chats. You know, that's what makes this channel go. That's what makes it worth it, because I've gone on stuff, and I don't know, can somebody explain something? This is what, before I got interrupted by the camera, it was blurry. Not that you interrupted me. I interrupted myself to try to fix it. When I say like stuff that's bearish on Tesla, I get people unsubscribing. I get literally hate mail. Why? Why does it matter if I'm bullish or bearish? It actually, I think it's better that I can show both sides of stuff, because do you want to take advice or learn from somebody who just sees one side of a market? I don't get that. And I don't get this environment where if somebody doesn't like anything you have to say, it's just like, I think you're FUD, I think you're horrible, you know, I don't like the environment, I don't like anything, I hate electric cars. You know, what does that have to do with trading? Can somebody answer this for me? Because I'm really confused. Can you talk about significance of triggering a double top in terms of odds for lower prices? Tesla tends to act more bullish than TA suggests. Yes. We have in the close to 70% probabilities that at least the first target will be hit, and mid to upper 60s that the second target will be hit. So that's pretty decent. And again, this is over a series of weeks. So your first target is 725. Your next target is 644. Okay. Those are the odds of the first two targets, roughly. And stuff varies a little, but those are over multiple years of testing both double tops and double bottoms. And I'm not surprised to see a bounce here. Again, deeply oversold. So, I mean, this is actually great. I love to get a bounce, because from a short perspective, you get a bounce and then you get up into this area, you get to play a rollover play, and you get even better reward to risk. And fine, if you're just a Tesla bull, you know what this means to me? Fine, you can still play the short-term plays, move up your stops, and then know the odds to the downside. You start breaking down, you know where these next targets are, and you watch for daily and weekly setups down there. It's actually a wonderful situation because if you follow along with this channel, great, you go lower, you watch for some great setups. It doesn't mean you can't go long. It just means manage your longs accordingly based off the larger term outlook. Let me know if that answered your question, Andre. Not every stock always goes up. So this has been on a bull run for a very long time. Okay? So stuff corrects. Corrections are great, just like this correction. Fantastic. There were signals down here, weekly signals. Weekly signals down here. This is one right here. This was a weekly buy, the 24th of May. Look, you bought there. Theoretically, if you've never taken profits, you still have profits. Now, I definitely take profits along the way and ratchet up a stop, but here was a weekly buy. Here was a weekly buy. This was a weekly buy that ran into overhead resistance. But all right, things were starting to change. You move up a stop. Worst case, you take something off, get your stop to break even. You're stopped out on partial position break even. You wait for a next weekly buy. By the way, if you get a close on a week above 987.69, it would be a very aggressive weekly buy. But your reward to risk is really off because of the length of this candle. So keep that in mind also. Let's see. When price action gets overextended up or down from the 1 hour, is the probability high for reversion to the 1 hour rotation zone? And then look for a reversal or continuation of trend? I watch for, all right, yes, when you get extended from these rotation zones, you get decent probabilities that you're going to get a reversion. Do I know if that reversion is going to be over or not? Well, it depends how oversold we are. The more oversold we are than the bounce, the more likely is it will slightly continue higher. How do you watch for stuff like that? Again, if you just measured this on a 1 hour basis, look at this. We hit the 1 hour rotation zone. What I'm watching, even if you weren't watching these momentum bars in the 15-minute, do the high to low. This works. This works very well. Did you get the 1 hour close below the 62.5? No, you did not. You're now moving up. So you get the rotation up. We've already softened it, and now we're still coming out of very deep oversold condition. You get the rotation up. So now this is why I'm still expecting higher prices. Could it still roll over? Could we hit the 4 hour? That's up at, 8.78 at this time. Could we hit the 4 hour and roll over again? Sure. So what do I do? What do I do? Do I know? No. Now we're just coming out of, again, we've not got a divergence on the 4 hour. Okay? You see here? Higher low RSI, lower low price action. Could we roll up to the 4 hour and then roll over and hit new lows? Yes. How do I deal with that? I raise my stop. Okay, let's say we came up here. I'm just going hypothetically for the worst case scenario that you'd want to do. Worst case, educational purposes. Let's say we came up here and we rolled up. Where's my worst case stop? This is the worst case stop. If I got in somewhere down here, and you know what? I could take partial profits again up here. Or my stop, worst case, is going to go below 825, right around here to 62.5 on a closing basis. On a closing basis. A disaster stop you could make below the 75% for just an intraday trade. But for a closing basis, why I want to give it the room. And why do I say closing basis? I guess we're going to go into teaching mode today. Because look at this. Here's where people get, and I've done extensive testing with this, closing versus intra-bar stuff. You see how it pokes below, a couple pokes below with no close below? That's why you want to wait, because these are not like brick walls. Support and resistance is not a brick wall, it's an area. But what generally breaks support or resistance are closes. Learn that, please. You're better to manage your risk according to that, because it will make you more money. From my perspective and my testing and everybody I've worked with over 30 years, once people started doing stuff on a close-by-close basis, their results greatly improved. Okay? And if yours don't, you're one of the some rarity, and I mean, I'd have to see what you were doing then. So, back to the question. This is why, yes, the reversion to the 1 hour and the 4 hour, and then I watch how it reacts with pullbacks. So we got the pullbacks, it held above a key area, and then we got the rotation up, and then we closed into it. Now, I'm going to do a very similar thing as it hits the other side of the 1 hour, and then it hits the 4 hour. Okay? So we'll probably get a reaction, especially since we have some significance right around the 881. We'll probably get a pullback or at least a reaction, and we can gauge the size of that pullback. If you start getting momentum to the downside, that can change the whole scenario. And remember, on rallies, when you have the rotation zones against you, they can end at any time. That's why it helps to move up stops. Now we've come down from, look at the daily, deep oversold. Look at the weekly, very close to deep, or very close to entering oversold, and it's very tough for Tesla to enter oversold. That's why would I be surprised to even see a return possibly to the, to this 900 to 915? No, not at all. But what do you think I'm doing when it gets there? Raising stops and or taking partial profits. It takes the emotion out of it. Please hammer it away. I love how you always confirm and reaffirm concepts, because what I've learned is people need to hear stuff literally 100 times. And that's not an insult. That's the way the brain works. I'm working on it, Wavy. I am working on it. Tell the markets to calm down a bit. Liquid Vistas, thank you every day for these insights. Those EMAs are my guide. And yeah, just you don't have to do everything I do, but some of these concepts, the reason we use them is because they can help you at least learn to take actions. At least learn to take actions. And we don't trade crossovers. I said this 100 times. Then why do I follow the moving averages? Because they help keep you and manage your risk accordingly, and rotation zones do work. But take your time. I know you're putting in an effort to make the best it can be. Yeah, and it just, when you see stuff, you'll see what the kind of effort I put into it. It's just like these live streams. I don't try to, anything I do is a reflection on the quality of path trading and myself, and I'm not putting out something to make a quick buck. You know what? I'd like to make some money off of it because my time is valuable, but I do put my heart and soul into even every live stream on this channel. So that's why. I'd rather have it be good, and I teach enough stuff on this channel that if you haven't found that you benefit from that, then you won't find benefit from the course, because the course is just going to help reiterate and give stronger and deeper concepts off the same kind of stuff I talk about. They love Tesla, Mike. It has nothing to do with you. Well, what's the hate from? Literally, what's the hate? Anyone who says it will go down, they dislike. I've been dealing with the same thing for years as a Tesla trader. But it's like literal vitriol. It's like I've personally hurt them. I'm both bearish and bullish on Tesla, and I'm the same way on any stock. I'm not married to any stock or any market. If you get married to something, you can't see it clearly. Salient cult mentality. You know, I mean, I love to teach people because I think this is stock that's good, is poised to hurt people one of the most, especially all these clowns that have said just keep averaging down. I don't get it. I'm just, I guess I'm just different. Uh, it's a cult. The Tesla perm bulls are dangerous. And I'm not going to insult anybody here. I just want people at least trade with your eyes open and stocks go up. You could be a cult of Apple. You could be the cult of Microsoft. I don't care. You shouldn't be the cult of any stock or any company because they all go up and down. And you should be grateful when stuff goes down because you get massive great buys. If stuff doesn't go down, you never get really great reward to risk where you can back up the truck. Where you could say this could be a year low or a multi-year low. I'm going to ride this for all it's worth. And I'm not saying you increase your risk. What I'm saying is, look, I just grabbed something that could be a multi-year low. Do you think I will raise my stops, but I'm not going to be aggressive at taking profits at that point? Should not matter. You should only trade price action. The best traders, investors take their emotion and bias. You don't trade or invest. And again, the more you can just look at stuff, that's just why we should also analyze both your bullish and bearish case. And what have I showed you with this? I'm just going to keep hammering. Even on this move back up, on the most recent move, here's the inverse. You get into this area. Here's the last little move down. We have this 4-hour rotation zone. Here's that 914. 914 on the 4-hour, and it's going to be the same on the daily. But look at this. There's the 62.5. This is a key rollover area with the daily rotation zone. So there's the concept to the upside. You get up in this area, I'm really aggressively moving up stops. And then from the downside, here's your warning sign. I'm just going to keep teaching. If I keep repeat myself a little today, I'm sorry. But you have this move. If we get into Monday and we start getting key closes below about 817, it could easily retest the lows. So my thing will shift. Let's say Monday we come up and then we roll over, without making a new high from the high at 857.38, and then we get a close below the 62.5, especially on a 15-minute or a 1 hour. All right, then I'm watching for a return to the lows, but I've learned how to manage my position accordingly. So that's some way you want a line that something's shifting. There's how you do it. If it moves up, you continue to move up your harmonics. Deeply oversold was trading since yesterday, post-market and pre-market. Yeah, things are deeply oversold, and that's why you manage that accordingly. 1 hour and 4 hour looks, RSI looks prime for a bounce, could be a nice gap and go play off the open. And what do we do on the open for Monday? If it gaps up, you draw your retracements just like we've taught every time with gaps. And then you watch for partial pullbacks. And especially if you have strength in the NASDAQ, watch for slight pullbacks, then rotation moves in the direction of the gap. And as long as we're not closing below that 62.5% level, then just go with the gap. And if the NASDAQ's running and Tesla starts running, then you start trading the momentum to the upside. Trees don't grow straight to the sky. As a Tesla holder for 2018, I can tell you there are significant drawdowns. Trees don't grow straight to the sky. And, this is where you trade the swings, or at least you manage your position with the swings. And because Mike points out trigger points, I can ensure my position with hedges that aren't a waste of money. And that's very good. You can be a bull only, and at points, that's a great point, Liquid Vistas. There's great. All right, Tesla's breaking below key levels. We're breaking down. You can hedge your position. Let's say you want to stay long. You can put on puts. You can put on a put spread. You can even lighten up. I talk about trading around the core. You can lighten stuff up and at key levels put that position back on. There are great ways. You don't have to be bearish, but this is a great point from Liquid Vistas. I really appreciate this community. Because you could be a massive Tesla bull, and all right, there's times you want to hedge your position. There are times you might want to lighten up and still keep a core position on. and then put it back on. You get a major double bottom pattern. Hey, let's put my full position back on. Great point, Liquid Vistas. Buru, if the trend is broken, is below 890 previous Jan highs, it goes lower to 720, and longer term, I agree. Again, we will have bounces though. On the way, we will have bounces. How do you manage stops if spikes fall below your stops? Well, first off, if I have a stop on a closing basis, again, this is an excellent point. I can have a disaster stop. All right, and the disaster stop's up to you and the way you want to manage your risk management. If I give it more room. For example, if I want to give stuff wider, let's say I was waiting for a close below the 62.5. I could make a disaster stop down here, though. This thing just tanks, like, boom. We just tank, I'm out. But this, I mean, look at this price action around the 62.5. How long was it below there? This is why you also don't do stuff like brief little close. But look, it was below there for not even 10 minutes. Use, the longer term stuff. And if you want a disaster stop, okay, go a couple harmonics. At least one lower. At least one, if not two. Therefore, if you need a walk, and I call it a walk away stop, meaning you could put this one in the market. Let's say, all right, let's 87.5 was at 800, right? Put a stop right here, 799.85. I wouldn't put it right at 800. Why? Because so many people put their resting orders right at the round numbers. So you want to give it a little cushion. But you could put a walk away stop. Why is it a walk away? Because I could put that one in the market and walk away. I could put that one in the market and go, people, I like to exercise. I got my Peloton and tonal, right? I've talked about it. What do you think I do if I'm going to exercise? I will have my phone and alerts with me, but, I'm in the middle of a set of bench presses. I have a walkaway stop in there. It's not like, oh my God, I got to run back to my computer. No, if there's a disaster, I have a walkaway stop. Otherwise, I'm giving it some time to breathe, and I set alerts. So I'm not saying don't put stops, but I don't put closing stops in the market because I need it to close below that level. But walkaway stops enable you to walk away from your computer. I hope that makes sense. Thank you, Andre. Thank you for this, again, wonderful Andre, again, contributing to the studio and the software and to keep everything going and to just help the channel. I really appreciate it, Andre. You have a wonderful weekend. Other than doubles, what another high probability topping or bottoming pattern you look for? I use my %B signals a lot. I use divergences a lot. And there's some other setups I use. I have something called an ice cream trade, which will be in the course. I watch for the shake and bake patterns. I watch for horizontal channels. I watch for I love momentum moves. And I've talked about that repeatedly. You want some of the safest plays, momentum moves. Look, I'm not trying to, again, call everything here. Momentum move you can get in here. So you didn't buy it here, but you bought on a safer move back up. You're not trying to buy every low. You're not trying to sell every high. You're trying to take the high probabilities. Remember that. Thank you, Sultan El-Saleh. Salah. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I probably butchered it horribly, but thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I butchered your name. I can say Sultan. I can do that okay. Again, I'm horrible with pronunciation. Midas touch. Do you think the market can pull back on Monday and this rally was just a bull trap? I hate the term bull traps because they're only valid in the rearview mirror. Yes. Could it pull back on Monday? Yes. The market still favors. I'm going to switch from Tesla for a minute. Okay? I'm going to go into NASDAQ, which everybody should be watching, especially at this time. where's the rotation zone on the NASDAQ? Here's the daily. It's bearish. Here's the weekly. It's bearish. The only thing, the 4 hours roughly neutral, but you have the daily and weekly bearish. What does that mean to me? These things can roll over at any point. We're not even back to the daily rotation zone. By the way, there is a potential double bottom here. And if it triggers, then I'll watch for the rally to continue higher. Because then the probabilities have shifted even stronger for a short-term rally. Okay? But when you have rotation zones against you in the broad market, here's one of the things, and people say, well, the bad news came out. Well, when the funny thing is when everything's bullish, good news tends to just trigger, continue, moves up, and bad news a lot of times is shrugged off or you get a little correction. The opposite is true when we're in bearish mode. Good news is sometimes shrugged off or you get a slight rally off of it. Bad news is amplified to the downside. So could bad news come out over the weekend? Theoretically, yes. Could then the market roll over? Well, look, if the NASDAQ rolls over and, takes out especially around 13,950, this area, see how many times it dipped below here? Dip below. The little dip below. I don't know if you can see this. There's a little wick below there. Dip below, dip below. You know what happens if, especially on a closing basis, even intraday, we get a key close below 13,950? Goodbye. But then everybody will say, see, it was a bull trap. Well, it was only a bull trap once it triggered the cascading selling lower. So bull traps and bear traps, they are anything going against key rotation zones can be bull traps. But you're only going to know it once the market rolls over. So how do you prepare for that? You lock in profits at key points and then trail a stop. Why do you trail a stop? Because it still gives you some upside potential, but if the market rolls over, you're out. That's how you prepare for bull traps in this. Could it be? Yeah. Do we know? No. Does that answer your question, Midas Touch? Andre, I'm following your Tesla coverage in order to get good long-term investment buy and hold entry point. I know we'll never be a good trader like you. No, you could be a good trader. You could maybe be a better trader. You could be anything. I know my limitations. I have conviction on Tesla. That's great. You do that. I'm glad you have conviction. There's a difference between having a conviction on a stock, though, and not wanting to hear any negative news or not wanting to hear any that it could go down. Great. And you want to be a long-term bull? Fantastic. Then stay tuned, because when I see weekly setups, I will list them out. No matter what I think, no matter what my fundamental bias is, it doesn't matter when it comes to setups, because we don't trade a fundamental bias here. We trade technical setups. And there will be great daily and weekly technical setups. And here's one. Close. You want an aggressive daily setup? A close above today's high is an aggressive daily setup. Out of oversold condition, it's actually a %B setup. It needs a daily close, and then you're going to have to raise stops as it hits the daily rotation zone. Why? Because, again, it could roll over. Does it have to roll over there? No. Could it continue higher to the other side? Yeah, that's why you take some profits off, raise stops, and then you continue to trail a stop. I'm going to keep harping on this until people start doing it. All right, I answered Sailing's question. Why do you hate the term? I think I answered that. If I didn't answer that to your satisfaction, let me know. A dead cat bounce? Well, again, I hate that term too. Any bounce in a bear market's always called a dead cat bounce. But what does that help us? Yes. And cats can bounce many times. That's the funny thing. And do we know how long the dead cat bounce is going to be? No, and you don't know it's a dead cat bounce until it rolls over again. Because Was this the bounce? If it rolled over on Monday, then this was the bounce. If it goes up to here, was this the bounce? Was this the bounce? And then, it's fine. We can label lots of things. It's oversold. We watch for a reversal and we watch for entry patterns. Terms are just terms, and people, it's like when the markets rally, they say, this is why I hate the financial media. I don't hate anything. It's why I don't like the terms. It's risk on mode or it's risk off mode. Okay? Just because the market's rallying does not mean it's risk on. Just because the market's going down does not mean it's risk off. Those are just generic terms. Ugh. And they say that, no, I've heard them say, within the same hour. It's why I don't watch financial media for the most part, because, it starts rallying in the morning. Oh, it's risk on. Then it rolls over. It's risk off again. You mean everybody went in the span of an hour from risk on to risk off? No, we had different things happen in the markets. Ugh. And it's all based off time frame. Well, that's all I can do is I'm just trying to keep people from hurting themselves in the markets and learning some techniques. And just get the jargon out of your head. Just get the jargon out. I think I'm shopping for August puts when and if we see 455 on the SPY. Okay. I think we'll have another major leg down. I don't know the timing on it yet, but I do think we'll have another major leg down that'll even go well before August. I will still be trading Tesla day by day. Too much overnight risk for me, and that's fine. Know your risk parameters. There's lots of people who don't want to hold overnight, which is fine. Great. You know it. It's part of your trading plan. Fantastic. You know, Wavy, where your risk is and where you need to be. So fine. Great. But there are so many opportunities lately due to the volatility. It's great. And volatility, you know how you get great volatility? Generally, you have up and down moves. You don't just have moves in one direction, because that's not sustainable forever. Obviously, you have calls. Who has calls? Obviously, I don't put out any. Most of the time, no, I don't give my positions a lot in individual stocks. You know why? Because I don't want to influence people. I set up with the S&P because I think it was interesting to follow along. I wanted people to follow along with that because I didn't know, but I figured there'd be lots of shakeout plays in here. And we never got key close below the 62.5, but so many people panicked intraday on stuff. This was a great learning stuff, but I don't tell you my positions in a lot of stuff because I don't want to influence things. Just because I'm long doesn't mean you should be. Just because I'm short doesn't mean you should be. Because you can have different time horizons, different trading strategies, different risk tolerances, different portfolio sizes. Okay, and I could be long and then 2 hours later be short. And I'm not going to sit here and put out live streams every time I switch a position. Nor do I ask anybody else what their positions are because it's your position. Thanks for the analysis and thoughts. Have a great weekend. You too, Wavy. Don't fret about the haters. Real ones will come watch every day. It's just frustrating. It's like it's annoying. It's just annoying. I hate going through the email and like delete. The trades you take with a 10K account are very different than a 100K account or a 1 million. Yes, they are. And everybody needs to position size and take their trades. Just like Wavy said, he's not holding overnight. So that's his stuff. So it doesn't matter if I'm got calls or puts or whatever and I'm holding them overnight. No, because Wavy needs to trade Wavy's strategies. Wavy needs to trade Wavy's risk tolerances. And Shashi needs to trade his strategies and his risk tolerances. I'm like, I'll be short and long in the same day, and it can change. But I've given you enough insight to key levels so you can probably guess some stuff. But I'm just looking to see what else I have to update here. With this reversal, I'm actually going to lower now because we have this. It looks like we'll get a pausing bar. I just want to see where the next. Oh, wow. All right. Just wanted to update one more thing, and then we'll call it a day. Please join me on Sunday. The sector overview, I'm just going to pre-record. I'll probably get it done tomorrow. But please join me Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Chicago time, Central Time, for the live stream for the market overview. I just updated the most recent swing and the longer-term swing. Longer-term swings from here. The most recent swings from here. And so if it rolls over and we start moving below 792, my warning sign would be on a key close below that 62.5 to retest the lows. We get below the lows, intermediate level 767. Then we have a significant level and dual cluster at 739. And I have that double target at 725. So that would be the next major area I'd be watching for price action to possibly reverse or bounce. And this isn't just for tomorrow. We could for beginning of next week, these levels could stay in place, especially the shorter term one until we got above the high from the 26th of January. So those are your key levels to the downside. And with that, I'm going to take it easy now and enjoy the rest of my Friday night. Step away from my computer after I wrap up some stuff. And then I will get back to recording stuff tomorrow. So please tune in and support the channel. Again, big shout outs to, where do we have? We have Sultan with the super chat. We have Andre with the super chat. And last but not least, I'm looking for you. We have Amit with the super chat. Thank you so much. That's a great way to end the week, and I will talk to everyone later. Be healthy, be safe, be happy, and enjoy your weekend. Bye for now.